Namah Parvati Pataye Govindanam Sankirtanam.
Namaste everyone. Wishing you a wonderful weekend in this Vasanta Rutu. Om Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamil Udirayet. Again chanting the wonderful Prarthana Sloka of Mahabharata. We'll get started. So last time we talked about Adi Parva. We continued the stories from Adi Parva and we concluded with the amazing celebration of Draupadi's wedding and how one of the great associations that started in that wedding was of Sri Krishna and the Pandavas. From then on, in the Adi Parva, we see more and more interaction between Sri Krishna and Pandavas. As the Pandavas go back now and regain their kingdom, they establish their rule in Indraprastha, and there they have the constant interaction and friendship of Sri Krishna. And especially Krishna and Arjuna become very, very dear friends. We see that happening. And the Adi Parva concludes with the episode of Khandava Dahana. The great forest of Khandava, Agni has to consume it, and Krishna and Arjuna give him protection as he consumes that great forest. And there again, they conduct great war against or battle against Indra that Krishna and Arjuna have, and Indra then himself comes and becomes very happy with them and gives them various gifts. And once again, the Adi Parva concludes with that amazing display of the Mahima of Krishna and Arjuna, Nara and Narayana, who have descended on the earth. So with that glory of Nara and Narayana, the Adi Parva, the great Adi Parva comes to a conclusion. And then we get into the next Parva. The second Parva among the 18 Parvas of the Mahabharata is Sabha Parvam. And Sabha Parvam naturally starts with this Krishna and Arjuna who have emerged victorious from Khandava Dahanam. And everything gets consumed there, but one of the people who gets saved, one of the beings that gets saved in that Khandava Dahana is a Rakshasa called Maya. Because Maya comes to running and falls at the feet of Arjuna. Please save me, when the Khandava Dahana is happening. And Arjuna, being the great king he is and the great Kshatriya he is, he always protects whoever comes to him as seeking Saranagati, right? He has come asking for Sharana. So Maya is immediately protected by Arjuna. He is saved from that Khandava Dahana, the great fire that is consuming the Khandava Forest. And so Maya is safe. So Maya now comes, he is very grateful for his survival. And he comes to Arjuna and says, now you have saved my life. I am a great sculptor. I am a great architect. I am a tremendous art that I have in architecture. So even for Vishwakarma, who is the engineer of the gods, he himself has given me this art and he himself employs me. So I have this great talent. So ask me anything you want. I shall give it to you, O Pandava. That's what Maya says. Then Arjuna says, I gave you refuge when you asked for your life. You came to me asking Saranagati. For such a person who I have given I didn't have any expectation of you when I helped you. I can't ask you any gift because you came to me asking for Sarana and I have given you. So I should not be asking you to do anything for me. But Maya keeps pleading. I want to do something for you. It's not because you were asking me. It is just my great gratitude I want to display. So, then Arjuna says, Nachapi tava sankalpam moghamichhami danava Krishnasya kriyatam kinchit tata pratikrutim mayi. Okay, I won't ask you, but Krishna is here. Then since you are asking so much, do whatever Krishna says. So then he goes, then he asks Krishna, please tell me. Then Krishna says, you are a great, I know you are a very great architect. You are known among the devas, rakshasas. Prepare such a palace. You architect such a palace, build such a palace for Yudhishthira that everybody will be amazed by. Whether it's devas or rakshasas or manavas, everybody should be amazed by the palace that you build. Display your great talent. Show what you can do. Exhibit your great talent to all of us. That's why, that's what Sri Krishna tells him. You prepare a palace or a sabha, right? Everybody should be vismita. They should be astonished. Prepare that kind of a sabha. That is what Sri Krishna tells Maya. Then Maya becomes very happy. Says, certainly I will do it. Actually, at one time, there was a Danavendra, a Rakshasa king called Rishaparva. He had asked me to prepare an amazing palace. I collected all the materials for that from various places all over the world and in different parts of the universe. I went and collected amazing materials for that, whether it was gems or stones or different kinds of, all kinds of astonishing materials I collected and saved them, hid them in a lake called Bindusara, which is in the north of Kailasa, north of Manas Sarovara. There in one lake called Bindusara, I hid all those materials. I never got to prepare that palace. But now I will get all those materials and I will prepare it for Yudhishthira. So saying, he said all that and he went away and for 14 months he worked on the construction of this palace. He had 8,000 Rakshasas working on the construction of that palace. He went and prepared that north of Kailasa. And then he came back to Yudhishthira after 14 months. He said, now I have prepared the palace for you, but I want to show more gratitude also. There is a great Gada prepared by a Rajarshi called Bhaumaditya. It's a tremendous Gada, invincible. The person who has that Gada will be invincible. That kind of a Gada, mace. I shall present that to Bhima as a gift. And he also got a very special conch, Shankha, called Devadatta. And he said, this Devadatta I will now give to Arjuna. So in the Bhagavad Gita we hear, right? Panchajanyam Rushikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya. Like that, right? That Devadatta is the conch of Arjuna. So that was presented to him also by Maya. Just as Gandiva was presented to him by Indra after Khandava Dahana, this was presented to him by Devadatta. So like that he gave special gifts, but the most special gift was this palace. So he had constructed it with those 8,000 Rakshasas. They all carried the palace, so it was a prefabricated, right? So it was made, and then they brought it and placed it in Indraprastha. So this was amazing palace. It was splendor, it was glowing, its splendor was amazing. It was shining and it was like going into the sky, multi-storied, beautiful palace. It was a wonderful confluence of gems and beautiful constructions, beautiful designs, all kinds of structures. It was blended with natural settings. There were trees and breeze and plants and gardens and lakes and beautiful architecture. All were blended beautifully. So it was a most astonishing palace, this Sabha. It was popularly known as Maya Sabha because Maya constructed that Sabha, but it was really the Sabha for Yudhishthira. It was established there, and in a nice muhurtam established by his priest Dhaumya, Yudhishthira then did the Sabha Pravesam to this wonderful palace. And that was a wonderful event. So many, first of all, 10,000 Brahmanas were fed with Payasanam, and they were all, each one was given a Godanam of 1,000 cows. So many thousands and thousands of people were done, Annadanam was performed to all of them. Many donations were performed. And along with Yudhishthira, great rishis, including Vyasa and all his Sishyas, Yajnavalkya, Gautama, Tittiri, Kanva, Kaundinya, so many greatest rishis came with them, and in such a grand manner, this great Yudhishthira did the Sabha Pravesam of this Sabha constructed by Maya. So in this way, that wonderful occasion happened, and Yudhishthira continued ruling from there. And then, as he was ruling there, one day, suddenly there was a tremendous glow that people saw. They were saying, what is this? Has the sun come down to the earth? How is so much glow? What is happening here? And then they saw that there was the sage Narada who had come down to earth, and he was walking towards this Sabha along with a few rishis that were accompanying him. So this most wonderful sage Narada had come to visit Yudhishthira in this new Sabha. And immediately, as soon as he entered, Yudhishthira and the Pandavas received him. They came and gave him a great seat, washed his feet, did Argyam, Padyam, all of the Samarpanas they did to him. And they considered it as their greatest fortune that he was there. And they did the Satkara to him, to Narada. Then Narada started asking questions to Yudhishthira. Sorchita Pandavai Sarvaihi Maharshi Devaparagaha Vedaparagaha Maharshi Vedaparagaha Dharma Kamatta Samyuktam Paprachedam Yudhishtiram. So that great Maharshi who is the Vedaparagaha, he knows all the Vedas, he is the greatest Rishi, Divya Deva Rishi Narada. He wanted to find out, he wanted to examine Yudhishthira, he wanted to understand what is how Yudhishthira is doing things. And desirous of understanding Yudhishthira, he started repeatedly questioning him. Just like Valmiki, we hear questioning Narada, Valmiki Paripapracha Valmiki Munipungavam, Naradam Paripapracha Valmiki Munipungavam, we hear in Ramayana, at the beginning of Ramayana. Here, Narada is questioning Yudhishthira, Paprachedam Yudhishtiram. He went on questioning. This set of questions in the Sabha Parva, when Narada comes and starts asking questions of Yudhishthira, is totally amazing. You will see 9 pages in Mahabharata, almost 100 slokas. They are all the questions of Narada to Yudhishthira. So if we think in modern terms, this Narada and the rishis who came there with him were like an accreditation team. They came to examine all like in modern colleges or institutions, you see a team will come and examine all the aspects of the functioning of that institution or college or company. Like that, Narada had come to do an examination. So the accreditation session. Kachidardhascha kalpante dharmacha ramate manah sukhani cha anubhuyante manaschana vihanyate. First he asks him about his own personal character. How are you conducting yourself? He starts with that. They see basically those questions that he asks are something all of us should study. This is the greatness of Mahabharata. So deep it goes and so relevant. It is like for any management team, any administrator, any king, ruler, chief executive officer, anybody who is having a function of managing others and has a responsibility for an organization, and especially for those who are running governments and running kingdoms, or even for running big companies. This is very, very relevant, what Narada is asking there. First, he asks for questions of Yudhishthira about his own personal life, personal conduct. Is he being a role model? How is he personally balancing himself? And how is he doing his time management across the four Purusharthas? Are you managing yourself and making sure you're attending to Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha? Are you doing all of those four things? Are you always situated in Dharma? Are you a proper custodian of the traditions of your ancestors? Are you maintaining all the traditions they have and such greatness they have established over time? Are you having daily discipline? Do you know when you sleep, when you wake up? How are you conducting your daily schedule? Are you planning for your next day every day, all aspects? And are you giving enough time to think about, is everything according to Dharma? Are you giving Dharma that prominence? Do you have all the attributes that the king should have? There are 6 very important attributes. A king should have cleverness of speech. You should be ready to provide things to others. You should have intelligence in dealing with enemies. You should not forget anything. You should have great memory. You should be really learned in the Dharma. And you should be a master of politics. Do you have all these 6 qualities? Have you mastered these qualities? How are you doing money management and time management so that it is distributed across all these aspects? How is your dress? How is your body language? How do you communicate with others? Have you banished all the bad habits like excessive sleep, laziness, fear, anger, weakness of the mind, and procrastination? Have you gotten rid of all of those things? So like that, he questions deeply about how he is conducting himself. So this is true for any of us, right? And anybody, especially in a management position, what kind of role model they are, what kind of example they are setting to everyone. And then he asks, what is your executive team like? What kind of people have you chosen? Have you really studied their strengths and abilities and talents? Have you assigned, delegated the right people for the right tasks? Especially your executive team, your chief minister, commander of forces, chief judge, chief of interior law enforcement, chief medical officer, chief priest, chief astrologer. These are the main people for you. Are they of the highest character? Have you chosen people who are subject matter experts, who are really good in all these areas, who are established in Vedas and Dharmas, who are trustworthy and loyal, who are willing to give up their life for you? Have you chosen such a team? Like that, he asks them. Then, especially ministers, he says ministers are most important. The country runs because of them. Do you have selfless people who are dedicated to the welfare of the people, steeped in values and traditions, learned and very knowledgeable in the Shastras? Do you have such ministers? Then he goes into individual departments. Each department he asks 4 or 5 questions. How is that department functioning? Or how are you? Deep questions about each of them. Finance, which includes lending, taxation, and all that. Defense. How is the army and all that? Trade. How are you engaging with trade? Foreign affairs. Are you keeping a knowledge of all the other kingdoms? Do you have deep knowledge of how other kings and other kingdoms are functioning? Are you maintaining proper relationships with them? Do you have deep knowledge about them? For that, espionage is very important. Do you have a proper spy system? Are the spies, what kind of spies do you have? What kind of information are they getting? How is your health department? How is your agriculture department? How are you conducting training and education for all of these people and all these various trainings? How are you performing? How is law enforcement happening in the country? What is interior law? How is it functioning? Are you ensuring there is zero corruption in the kingdom? Nobody is accepting any bribes. How are you ensuring all of these things? What kind of dharmic and religious affairs do you have? Are you conducting yajnas, homas, etc.? Are they being conducted properly? And how is news and information management and broadcasting happening? So there is in the Telugu version, there is a Nannaya, that is more than 1,000 years old. There is this beautiful padyam in Telugu in the Mahabharata, coming from, of course, the original translation. Vartayande jagamu vartillu chundunu. Adilena naadu ప్రజలు అంధకార మగ్గులగుదురు కావున వార్త నిర్వహించవలను పతికి. So it's a amazing padya. So he's వార్తయందే జగము వర్తిల్లు చుండును. This world runs on information. See, coming from more than 1,000 years ago, even by Nannaya and from Mahabharata, this world runs on information, varta, news, information. Vaartayandu jagamu vattillu chundunu. Adi leni naadu janalu andakara magulaguduru. If you don't have information, people will be in darkness. Therefore, a king has to really control the flow of information and should ensure there is information flow. Information technology management is most important to run this world. So that's so things like that, he says. So like this amazing session that Narada conducts for and this shows how much of a text Mahabharata is for us and how relevant it is for all of us today, and how deeply our ancestors have thought about how management should be done, how kingdoms should be run, and such depth they have there. So that more than the answers here, it's all about the questions. Are you asking the right questions? That's what Narada shows. At the end of it, Dharmaraja bows to him and says, I'm so fortunate that you have come to me. You have asked me such wonderful questions. All I can say is, I'm doing my utmost to keep the values that I have received from my ancestors. They have ruled so wisely. Every day, I consider it my responsibility to give everything I can to maintain dharma and satya and keep the greatness of my ancestors alive. The people, the Kuruvamsa, who has ruled this earth so beautifully over centuries, I want to keep that tradition alive. With that, he bows to him and thanks him. So with this, we'll conclude for today. This is the one of the amazing episodes of Sabha Parva. Om Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye.